I met Ed a few years ago whilst he was working at a coffee shop, and I thought, who is this cool bearded guy who dresses really well, is completely nonchalant about life? And the more I got to know him, the more interested I was in just how he is. He's a pretty cool dude. Like I said, keeps it very chill. And he also has no hair, so he's of real interest to me. So I invited him in to have a conversation about his own journey into hair loss, and this is how we got on. Cool. Well, firstly, thank you for coming to do this.
That's all right.
Really appreciate it. I think a fun place for us to start would be, well, what you were just describing of your journey into learning that you're losing your hair.
It's definitely not a new thing. I was probably 24, 25 at the time. And yeah, as I was saying, I had my hair cut just normally on a Friday or something like that. Really, it was thin hair. It's what I would call character preset number 1. Nondescript, and went out over the weekend, and my friend and my girlfriend at the time decided to joke that it was thinning out at the back, and I've been known to commit to jokes. So 2 days later, I turned up with a bald head, and they were rather surprised, but it turns out when you're bald and bearded, it's extremely convenient. And at the time, I'd say it was definitely a choice, and I got used to having a bald head before it wasn't so much a choice.
Yeah.
What's more been a shock to me is I used to work with an endoscope camera, basically camera on the end of a long tube, and I was at work sorting out the cable, and I think it was during lockdown. I'd been really lazy, not shaved my head for ages, and catching sight of the back of my head on a grainy little endoscope picture was the dawning realization that it was no longer really a choice. The island had definitely grown.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I think I'm fortunate enough to have a rather large beard.
Yeah.
And I am not kidding myself. What causes the bald is exactly what causes the beard. So it's just a trade-off.
Yeah.
I joke that when I get my ID out, all it is that my head's turned upside down.
Yeah, you do like a handstand.
Yeah.
I can't imagine you getting ID'd though all that much though.
No, sadly not. It's if it is, I can only assume it's one of the older ladies looking for a chat.
So do you think that because you went early, it sounds very similar to what I did. How I first discovered I was thinning was a very similar thing. Just I used to always shave my head anyway, and then one time it grew back. I was like, oh, that's interesting. It's not growing back like it once was. Do you think because you did it before it was a surprise, that sort of helped you become more comfortable with the fact that your hair's fucked?
I think it's a bit like if you don't see a friend for ages and then either they've just completely changed because you haven't seen it gradually day by day, it's way more of a shock. It's way more, there's no kidding yourself. It was literally just like, okay, it's now 4 years later and it's no longer a choice. But I think the biggest thing for me is having a scar on my head. I think it was 42 stitches, something like that. And I guess, yeah.
It's a beauty.
Big old W.
How did you manage it?
It was a drink driver on a Harley Davidson, went for a red light when I was 8.
Oh man.
And yeah, my clothes got caught in the chain and I went for a little ride down the road. But I mean, I don't really remember any of it. So seeing the scar doesn't really bother me at all, but did it bother my family? So if anything, that was probably the biggest concern.
Well, like exposing it a little more.
Yeah, if it touched a nerve with them rather than for myself. But they were perfectly fine with it. I think as well, when I first did shave my head, the very first time, I think because I wasn't used to it and wasn't entirely sure of what lengths the lower grades were, I think I had like a 1 on top or something, so still tiny bit of hair there, more like a buzz cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was thicker than it is now. However, I think just committing and going for the bald, I think a little bit of stubble on there is what looks best. So I realise I'm stumbling over, not knowing what I've fucking said already.
Not related to the head injury.
Yeah, it's basically, it doesn't matter if there's a scar. People, you get occasional questions about it, but yeah, I guess more worried about looking like a thug.
Yeah, I think your
Then
very delicate eyes quickly put people off the scent of you being a thug. You've got a warm face, warm smile.
when you can see it through the beard.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to take a guess here that you've probably not really considered any other, I'm going to use the term in brackets, but treatments. A lot of people, if they see their hair loss as like a really negative thing, they'll go down the route of like wearing a wig or having hair transplants, or there's services called like SMP where they like tattoo in the...
Oh yeah, I've seen a little bit of that. No, I haven't. I've seen them. They've been advertised to me because the algorithms have seemed to have learned I'm bald. But I got way more compliments on a shaved head when I first did it than when I had hair and had been for a haircut.
Interesting.
It's admittedly as well, it takes getting used to the compliments. Like, has anyone ever said to you, you have a good shaped head? Like,
Yeah.
it's fucking weird the first time.
Yeah.
You sort of don't really know how to take it.
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly. I mean, it's even better than being told your hair looks good because you can change your hair.
Yeah.
Just having a good shaped head feels way more fortunate.
I'm gonna bald this up so you look like a bit more like me. I reckon that would be a fun
Sounds
thing
good.
to do.
Yeah, I think confidence is the main thing, right? It's what's going to make you most confident. If I didn't have the beard, it could be a very different story. Oh man, that feels weird.
Doesn't it?
I've never used one of these.
Well, welcome to paradise.
Yeah. Fuck. It's like one of those weird little head massage things.
Yeah, mate. There's nothing weird about it. We're just two regular dudes having a good time.
Fuck, where was I before the head
You were
massage?
talking about the blessing of having a beard for being bald.
I know there's people have types and whatnot, but it's going with what's going to make you the most confident, because mostly in other people, not just romantic settings, but being out in social settings, having confidence, I think, opens up way more opportunities. If you are feeling self-conscious about loss of hair, you can't choose to grow more, but you can choose to take it off.
Yeah.
So it's sort of just embracing it, putting a positive on something where, like I said, I really wasn't expecting to have more compliments about the shape of my head than the hair that was on it beforehand.
And do you think it's going to be a pretty difficult question for you to answer because you've only ever been used to having a bald head with a beard? Do you think you could find the same confidence with this haircut without a beard? Or maybe finds not the right word. Could you create that same level of confidence that you have for yourself now if you didn't have a beard?
Yeah, definitely. I think take getting used to, because I think the last time I saw my chin was probably about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I always toy with the idea of just going down to a moustache and just turning up somewhere. The way to motivate me is more a joke.
Yeah, there's a thing
And
there, isn't there?
maybe that's the defense mechanism. When it's a joke at first, even if it is stupid, you did it for it to be funny.
Yeah.
And then I've ended up in the fortunate, but it's exactly what I did with shaving my head. If it works, great, own it. There's way more to a person than where their hair grows.
Yeah, I like that.
It's just your face. I've got weird back hair. No one knows that. I'm more self-conscious about weird back hair than I am.
You see my back hair quiff hanging out the top of my t-shirt.
It was when you were turning the other way. The little bar light over there did light it up quite nicely.
Just highlights that little back quiff. What I want to go back to, something you said I caught just now, was a way that you've created confidence for yourself is make it a joke first and then accept afterwards. So you, by being less serious about it, you've taken the sting out of what could be like an incredibly personal thing.
Definitely, yeah.
But by making light of it, then allows you to be in a position where you can then accept it, be like, oh, actually, after I've done this, I'm still me, I'm still fine, nothing bad's happened.
If my personality is to, be it good times or bad times, is to try and make a joke out of it.
Sure.
Shaving my head was just part of me joking around in the first place.
Yeah.
It was just me being myself rather than worrying about, like I said, there were concerns in terms of scar on the show and whatnot, but that was worrying more about other people's reaction.
Sure.
So by taking yourself less seriously, it was just being myself and having a laugh.
Yeah.
Rather than a huge statement in shaving my head.
Yeah, like a big song and a dance and
exactly.
big grand reveal.
Would have been nice if they put on a ceremony, but fuck them.
What you just said is, I think is really powerful, that by taking yourself less seriously and making light of the situation to then grow and accept and learn to love what you've got, I think it's incredibly powerful. So I really appreciate you sharing that.
No, that's all right.
Do you have any friends that have not had an as easy ride into baldness as you have, or?
Yeah, maybe one or two, I think, maybe who are still clinging on a little.
Sure.
I guess problem is unspoken. I, much like a lot of things for guys, seeing them in social situations, it's wearing hats and whatnot, rather than, but time and place, haven't necessarily spoken to them about it.
It's probably a weird thing to bring up, right? It's always, unless like, I'm in a really fortunate position here because I get bird's eye view of everyone's head, and you know, if somebody asks me, then I'm pretty straight about it. But I think you're really right, and it's not something you can be like. I think because it's such a sensitive subject, you couldn't tell your mate, be like, come on mate, it's time now. Because also it's not really that much to do with you, but you can see how much of a struggle it's causing them, and you know, hiding behind a hat or not going out when it's windy. Or
I think one of the other things as well is more, I guess, as a comparison, less so for men, is I know quite a few girls who are embracing grey early.
Yeah.
Rather than dyeing hair. I think there's just way more of a trend of going with a more, well, at least a more natural sort of way with it.
Sure.
Rather than, well, I don't know why I'm talking about trends, you're the fucking barber. I see it similar to that. Kind of, if they're fine with, if people are fine with grey in their hair, because I say women as men as well, everyone can go grey. I suppose it's just out of the people that I know. But it's not the playground anymore. Like, I think if people are gonna actively say something, they're probably not worth listening to. Without, like you mentioned, the things like transplants, tattooing, without permanent, costly change, it's better just to embrace it. There's more of the empowerment about it, and if you don't want to make a big deal out of it, you don't have to. If you do want to make a big deal out of it, that's entirely up to you.
Sure. All right, we've wrapped up with the head. You look bald and beautiful. I'm going to put a bit of moisturiser on the top there, just to keep you looking nice and lovely. But if you could think of like a closing bit of advice that you'd give to someone who is currently seeing their hair loss as a struggle, if you have any at all, what would you politely encourage?
It's an easy thing to be insecure about. I still wear hats a lot of the time anyway. I still get compliments on my head as opposed to when I'm wearing hats. It's a cool look if you embrace it. But also if you are losing the hair and sort of going into your shell a bit because of it, it doesn't affect your personality. I was losing my hair, so fuck it, shave it off, make it a joke.
Yeah, nice.
Just be yourself.
Yeah, I like that. Perfect. I'll shut this off and then we'll tickle your beard.
Thank you.